Hey guys, thanks for having us on your call tonight. It feels kind of funny I don't know, Tiffany and I were like, we feel nervous. What's wrong with us? So just know that we might look like we have it all together, but we still don't have it all together. And we are excited to share some things with you guys, some things that have really stood out to us in our business and things that we just feel are so important that everyone needs to hear. So I am Fallon Rabe and this is Tiffany Wilson, and we are both Diamond Ambassadors. And we are going to talk tonight about having a no excuse mindset. And I think Tiffany and I would both say that this is one of the most important things that we've had in our businesses is just no excuses. Jamie too. I just remember we've all said we're not going to have an excuse. We're not going to say no to anything. If someone asks us to do something, we're not going to say no. We're going to commit first and figure out how to make it happen. And I am reading this book, The 10X Rule by Grant Cardone. I don't know if any of you have read it, but it's so good. I want it to be like another book club book. And he said in there to make a commitment and then make it happen. You don't try to figure out how you're going to make it happen. So for convention or events, just decide you're going and then you find the babysitters. And it's kind of like, we want to have everything in order. We need to have it all figured out. Even like this call. I don't know what's going on with the baby's schedule. I don't know what's happening, but I committed. I'm going to do the call. I'm going to make it happen. And I committed a couple months ago. So having a no excuse mindset is so important. That just means that you decide that you are going to make it happen no matter what. You don't try to do it. You don't try the products. You don't try the business. You know that the products are going to work. You understand the science behind it, and you are going to heal your body. You're going to go through the detox if that's what happens. You're going to stick with it. Same with the business. You're not going to try to get to gold or see where it takes you. You just decide that you're going to be successful and you're going to go all in. Recently, I did a crazy diet. That just so happens that Tiffany's did the same thing and Jamie is working on a similar diet. And we didn't look at all the details along the way. We're just like, we are going to work on this next level of health and healing for our bodies, and we're just going to commit to it. And then my nutritionist wouldn't even send me all the meal plans. It's a 12-week program. She only sent me the first 2 weeks. She's like, this is all you need to know. When people look at too much, they get overwhelmed. You just need to decide that you're doing it and go. So I went in totally blind to everything that I was going to be eating or not eating. And it was kind of crazy, but you want to decide and then make it happen. You having a no excuse mindset means you get the work done. You stop blaming your kids. You stop blaming your spouse for not being supportive. You stop blaming your family for not being supportive. Tiff's going to talk a little bit about that in her story. My story, I had a lot of kids. And at the beginning, I would make excuses for why I couldn't do things. Like, I have too many kids. I don't have enough time and all of these things. And even today, I told my husband, I'm like, gosh, how did I do all the things that I did with 5 little kids younger than the age of my 6-year-old? Now I have all these big kids helping with the baby, and it still feels like a lot. And it's because I just did it. I just decided to do it and I just made it happen. So you need to have a rock solid belief in the products and a rock solid belief in this business. A rock solid belief in the products means you're not going to allow returns to happen. There's no such thing as, oh, she just wants to return it. And that's a mindset, because I totally get that. Sometimes, no matter how hard you try, someone is stubborn and as strong as nails, and they are going to return the products no matter what. They have already decided, usually before they even get the products, they've already decided that they are not going to do it. They're going to try it. And if it drops 50 pounds in 2 days, they're all in. But if not, they're done. That's somebody who doesn't have a no excuse mindset. Same with the business. They aren't on calls. They aren't on book club. They're making excuses for why they can't do these things. A lot of the time that goes back to their belief. They don't believe that if they put the time in and they invest their time, they don't believe that they're going to get anything out of it. So they want to quit because of that. This is the opposite of a no excuse mindset. This is someone who is full of excuses. And oftentimes as leaders, we allow these excuses. We let them say, oh, that's not a good time, or that's not going to work, or I have to put the baby to bed, or all of these things. Okay, well, can you find a new time for baby? Team calls in the middle of dinner. Can your kids listen to team call with you once a week? My kids did. My kids listened to lots of training with me and they loved it. They would ask for it because they felt like they were learning something. They would ask, mommy, are we going to watch Sonia Dudley? And we would do that for the next days. Having a shaky business is scared to push your team for the next rank. If there are 5 people away from gold, you're scared to push them because you don't want to push them too much. They might quit. That is not rock solid belief. That is not having a no excuse mindset. That is making excuses for your team. And I've gotten on most of my leaders from time to time, like, you're making excuses for that person. Why can't they show up to this event? I mean, I've gone to events broke. I've taken a loaf of bread, hot dogs, and a bottle of mustard because I couldn't leave the mustard at home. And I ate every meal. Every single meal was out of my suitcase because I couldn't afford anything else for my very first convention. What do you mean that someone can't afford to go? Where there's a will, there's a way. You can't afford not to go. I wouldn't be making this paycheck that I am today if it wasn't for my very limited budget, getting my butt to convention those first 2 years that I was really struggling. But I had belief, and my belief fueled my no excuses. I'm going to do it. I am going to make this happen. It was a do or die for me. And that is why I've been able to be so successful. So Tiff, you're going to share some of your story, and I love listening to you. So I'm excited to relive all of this with you.
It was funny because as I was preparing the call, I was reliving it and I thought, gosh, I had every opportunity in the book to make excuses. And it was kind of an emotional day today thinking back to a lot of this. But this business, y'all, is 90% mindset and 10% how to. And so I want to start by just saying that I think that one of the biggest belief bashers in this business is mindset, or is excuses, sorry. Mindset too, but excuses. So, and y'all, I'm going to tell you that I love excuses. I mean, I love them because if you know me, you know that I love to make them, and I love them because I like to catch myself making them, and then I like to stop making them. And I don't know if that's because I'm a 7-6, so I'm constantly trying to talk myself out of like adventure and worry or what it is over here, but it is a growth mindset. And anyone who's been able to make a lot of excuses in this business, it has been me. Like, I have had many opportunities in this business. So I'm going to share a little bit about my story. A lot of you might know, some of you might not. Pretty in-depth into my story, but my journey started at the end of 2014. Most of y'all know that I had extreme detox, and I'd be happy to share more. Probably need to do another call on that, truthfully, but long story short, I stuck with the products. I ditched over 10 prescription medications, and then I began to just organically share my love for the products. And I want to say this to y'all again. I stuck with these products and I ditched over 10 prescription medications. Okay. So no, my sponsor, Fallon, on this call tonight, the girl that I sold a stroller to, and I had never met in my life, she did not give up on me, y'all. She did not tell me to have a nice life on the toilet and continue to take my prescription medications while she just ran away. Okay. And believe me, I was on the toilet, but she was on the phone with me through the holidays, through Thanksgiving that year, through Christmas, through the new year. And this girl would not let me quit, dang it. She just would not. I said, this stuff ain't working. I'm going back on my meds. And she was bold. She was brave. And she was willing to put herself out there with the knowledge that she had gained through the years. And so this is the same for our friends and family on these products, y'all. They don't know what they don't know. And boldness in this business is a requirement, and that's where growth begins. So don't be afraid to share your passion for these products and this opportunity with others boldly, because they don't know what you know. So don't make excuses for your team and for others that when they want to quit or they want to give up. And there's very rarely that I have seen in 6 years valid excuses for quitting, because guess what? If you cannot afford the products, you share. If your doctor told you to quit, you daggone get out there and you research on why you need these products, and you be the best advocate for your health. If you are not seeing results, you need to adjust your dosages and you need to give it time. Okay, I detoxed, y'all, for over 9 months when I began. And I still detox because we are all exposed to environmental toxins, even in our own homes mostly, as well as the foods we eat daily. There is no escaping it. You are going to always need to detox your body. You have to support your body through proper supplementation. So Okay, before I get into a whole nother call on detox and natural living, because that's about where I feel like I'm headed here, I'm going to continue my story. Okay, so I was, no other MLMs that I had been a part of, aside from Plexus, candles, nails, makeup, they never touched what happened to me with Plexus in my first month. And I didn't have to do the in-home parties. I didn't have to keep inventory. So my timeline was April 2015, 5 months after I had joined. I told a few friends about the products and I went silver that month. And that was almost 6 years ago this month on April 16th, 2015, I went silver. And I'll never forget the silver mermaid tail that Fallon posted for me. There was no words on this picture. It was a silver mermaid tail. And it was so special, y'all. I was so excited about that. It's still in pink power. But so then on July 20th, so from April to July, only April, May, 3 months after I started sharing, y'all, my beautiful stepsister, Angie, she passed away after a 9-year battle of breast cancer at the age of 38. Okay. And I want you to pay attention to what I'm saying next, y'all. On the same day that my sister passed away, Jamie went silver. And I don't even know if Jamie knows a lot of this detail. It's been very just private for me, emotional. But I remember that moment like it was yesterday because I had made a post about it. And the excitement of the day in Jamie's voice, and then the phone call from my father, all wrapped into one memory. Y'all, I had every excuse in the book right there, only 3 months into my business. I had excuses to walk away in those moments, but I also had something more. I had passion, I had fire, and I was ready. And I turned those excuses into extreme action. And what could have stopped me right there and then I chose to propel my heart. I'm reading your messages, are so sweet, but I chose to propel me forward into success. And it really was a choice, y'all. All those times in my business that I have been made fun of for sharing my pink drink, and I still get made fun of, y'all. But I mean, I chose to say, you know what? You're going to see me with Alexis in Hawaii and as a diamond. And all those times that my husband was away as a pilot and I was left with 2, 3, 4 children in the middle of school activities, dinners, leading calls, life, all of it, I still chose to say, you will see me in my Lexus and Hawaii and as a diamond. So y'all, November 2014, I began, and that was, it was 4 or 5 months later, April silver, August, after my stepsister passed away, I went gold, September senior gold, October ruby, November senior ruby, January emerald. Like I'm telling you, I had passion and fire. 3 months later, within about the first year, sapphire. There was absolutely no stopping my why. And then 3 years to the day I hit sapphire, I hit diamond. And so I want to tell you all a little bit about what happened in between those 3 years from sapphire to diamond, because I did hit personal growth roadblocks. I let fear creep in. I let excuses take over. Even in what many would regard as massive success, y'all, there were so many times that my excuses were so validated that my belief that a busy mom with my husband gone, raising kids and living life, that I believed that there was never truly a way to become my definition of success. That was what I believed in my excuses. And why did I believe that? I believe that because self-improvement often gets sabotaged by the lies that we tell ourselves and what we believe. And so if you're saying, okay, this is what I think and feel, and therefore it's true, that does not have to apply to you, okay? This is what I think and feel, and therefore it's true, does not have to apply to you. So if you hear somebody or yourself saying, I don't have time. I'm too busy with all the kids, summer, sports. I have to binge watch Game of Thrones, my other TV shows. I don't know what to do. I've talked to everyone. No one's interested. Life is in the way. The products are expensive. I don't have enough knowledge. People are too broke where I live. I'm too worried about what others might think. You're so lucky. I could never do what you do. I can't lead calls. I have nothing to say. What value can I add? Can I really do this? I mean, y'all, I could literally list like 1,000 excuses out here to you. I have no time, so and so on. Those are excuses, okay? I want to tell y'all that one of the most important things to remember is in this business, you are going, I know, I'm like, I gotta breathe, but you are gonna go through seasons while owning your business, okay? You bought this business for $34.95, $39.95. You might have just bought it for $1, okay? And you're a business owner, so don't take that lightly. Yes, you're fortunate enough that you didn't have to spend hundreds of thousands on a storefront, but that doesn't mean that your work from home business should be tainted with excuses, okay? It's like online schooling. If you want a degree, if you want gold, ruby, if you want to be a jewel, if you want to be diamond, you need to be in consistent, disciplined, purposeful action, okay? You do not give up, give in, and you do not make excuses for your excuses. Small actions done daily, y'all, compound into big successes over time. We just read it in the Slight Edge. And so my excuses, y'all, I want to tell you that my excuses didn't just end with my stepsister passing away and being a military spouse. Those were enough excuses, but only a year and a half into my business, if some of y'all don't know, my own 8-month-old son at the time was diagnosed with lung cancer, okay? it's it's crushing. It's like the weight of 1,000 ocean waves pounding upon chest, taking your breath away. It's a feeling that I've never really been accurate to describe. But that was in 2017 between Sapphire and Diamond, a period of massive struggle, comparison, growth. I could have made excuses. I could have let my thoughts and my mindset hold me back in those moments but this business is 100% up to me, y'all. It's 100% up to you. So I could have either, I could show up, hold myself accountable and overcome, or I could give up. And it's the same for you. And so for a hot minute, I let my fear, I let my excuses take root in my mind. But then I remembered, y'all. I remembered Angie, my stepsister. I remembered the thousands of lives our team was changing. I remembered God's promises, and I sprung into action because you know what? I was able to be there with my baby boy in the hospital because of this opportunity, because of that time freedom, that financial freedom, these products. We had a community of support and prayer because of Plexus. So I turned that season into passion once again. I dropped those excuses. And you know what I continue to do now? I share my love for the products in this business with other cancer mamas, with other people seeking more. I advocate for my son. I speak passionately about all things healthy living in all areas of life. Because if y'all know me, I'm going to have an alternative to whatever it is that you're doing or taking that's healthy or natural. But I know, y'all, that God always has a plan because I have met and continue to meet some of the most special people. And so I could continue on and on for all of the reasons and excuses for not succeeding in my business, friends, but I want you to see that success through trial does happen, and then that the triumph is even bigger and more rewarding on the other side, and that your impact does truly make a difference here. And I don't want you to let your excuses or let anything get in the way of that and ever stop you from believing that. Okay, I'm gonna take a break. Fallon, you got anything to add, girl?
The best part about leading calls together, you can take a breather and regroup yourself. I love
I could
all
go
of
on and
that.
on, but I'm looking at time, so go.
Well, you said you could lead the whole thing yourself talking
I
about
told
this
you that
topic,
tonight.
so
I'm
I'm
like,
gonna hold
I
you
let
to it.
Fallon
You need
talk.
to make another video. So you guys, just even with Tiffany's story, but I just wanted to share a couple of personal examples with other level ones. How do you have a no excuse mindset as a leader when you see someone like a level one or someone on your team going through struggles like Tiffany did, where it feels like, gosh, she has a legitimate excuse to want to quit or to not work or to quit the products. She's detoxing really bad or she's struggling in the business or whatever. How do you as a leader stand firm in that type of mindset? For one, you have to be the strong person. You have to be the strong one when they are weak. And I think as a leader, especially with a lot of really strong level one jewels and diamonds and all of that, you have to be the strong one for them. You have to know when to push them and when to be that supportive person, when to be the care and the love that they need, and still keep them involved in everything. So especially talking with golds, senior golds, rubies, emeralds, all of us will go through different seasons, but as a leader, there's so much you can do to support that person. So when they do get back into that state of mind where they are so back on fire, they're ready to go full throttle. They know you're there for them, and it's the relationships that are important and having that caring attitude. So even getting people into a no excuse mindset when they're not there at the beginning. So my cousin Rochelle, she's a sapphire, and she just wanted weight loss, and she just wanted to get her products paid for the whole family once she fell in love with them. And so I was like, gosh, that's a lot of products. You're going to need a pretty big paycheck. You're going to need to share with a lot of people. Get on book club with us. I mean, this is the product user who just wanted the product, but I knew that she liked reading and personal growth, and she was a Christian mama too. And so I was like, get on book club. I know this is going to inspire her. She's going to go way bigger than just the product user. And I would say little things like, here's where I'm going. It never happened, but I used to want to get an RV and travel and do all those things before any other people in Plexus had done it. But that was what my goal and my dream was. And I don't want that anymore. So that's what I would tell her. Like, I'm going to get an RV. This is what I'm going to do with this business. And I was dreaming out loud on the phone with her, and she was listening. That's all that she was doing, was she was listening. And that's how I got Tiffany to want to work the business too. It was so unintentional. I was just talking about where I was going, and they're looking at me like, all these kids, all this homeschooling, how are you going to do it? And I'm like, I have big goals. I got time. This is fun. I love it. I love what I'm doing. And then they wanted to do more with me. My sister, she was a hard one for me. She was always redoing furniture and decorating her house. And I was like, come on, do this with me. Stop making excuses. Your house is good enough. Stop working on that. You can do Plexus and make all kinds of money and have all that money to buy whatever you want, whatever furniture you want. And she would still drag her feet, but I went on without her. I just kept moving. You don't slow down for the person who's making excuses. The worst thing you could possibly do is start making the same excuses that they're making. Then there's no leader. There's no leadership moving forward. So I was just like, all right, well, I'm going to be making all this money. I'm going to be debt free. I'm going to build my dream home. Off I go. And eventually she followed me, and she's an emerald on my team now. The same with Brittany Howard. She quit halfway to gold. And what happened with her, I just kept loving her as a friend. We were friends. We talked about cloth diapers. We talked about feeding our babies and homeschooling. And I talked to her while I did laundry, and I would just tell her where I was going and what I was doing. She felt like she didn't have the time. Her husband wasn't supportive, all of these things, all of these excuses. And I was just like, oh yeah, I got all that too, but look at me. Here I go. And I just kept moving. That is what you do as a leader. You don't come down to their level. You're there, you're supportive, but you just keep the pace, and you be that strongest person on your team. You just keep going and keep loving them. It's a fine balance, but you want to push them to their breaking point, but not to the point where they break and they hate you and they don't want to talk to you. You just have to do a little bit, like, how close can you get them to the edge, and then come back and be super supportive for where they're at. Like, girl, I know your husband's gone, but mine's never home either. But oh, your poor babies. Like, I feel bad, whatever. But you just kind of nudge them towards the direction of a no excuse mentality. And I know Tiff has some more things to say on that, and now let her wrap this up.
Okay, hope I don't lose my breath. But yes, y'all, like Fallon was saying, don't let excuses slow you down. You know, if you've heard the saying, fast is easy, slow is hard, that's true. When you lose momentum, it's hard to pick that up. And the speed of the leader is the speed of the pack. So if you're doing the work, if you're not doing the work, you can't expect your team to be. So don't let that excuse mentality take over, and spend time with the 80%, spend 80% of your time with the 20% that want this, and don't focus on just one person, but keep funneling and keep it empty and filling it back up and keep sharing with everyone. Another thing I had wanted to make sure that I don't forget too, but some practical tips If I forget anything, Val can add at the end here, but just make sure that you are in your virtual office, that you know where people are, what their points are doing, what's going on, are they reordering? That stuff is going to just make life so much easier to understand your team, to not allow those excuses and to see things happening. And I want to say, y'all, that we all have 24 hours in a day and we all have real life. And so we can either choose to manage that 24 hours or we can let it manage us. And if it manages us, we'll likely never achieve what we want. Everyone's going to have challenges. We need to deal with it, make adjustments, and give up less important things when real life does come calling. And, I had used my children and the fear of what others might think as an excuse to not work my business at times. Even though they were ultimately my reason why, I would think that I'm a mom and I need to be there with them 24/7. I didn't think like I'm empowering my children that, hey, when you're 18, you can get out there and you can do this. You can become a business owner. Now I give my children personal growth books. I show them, we dream together, we do this together. So next time you feel inclined to use an excuse, I want you to take a rock solid look at it and see that it's just that, an excuse. And make a mental note on how you're going to make changes and mindset shifts in the future. And I do that with myself because again, like I think I just like to talk myself out of stuff and then see the excuse and then be like, oh yeah, okay, here we go. But I know I spoke about it a bit, but anytime you wonder if your why is strong enough, I think that's a bit of a big component here, is to look at your why and your excuses together. Because if you have a lot of excuses and they are really that excuses, then your why is probably not strong enough or compelling enough to get you off of that couch and into action. So there is power in your why. And I really feel that it goes hand in hand. Your why should be enough to propel you forward to success in network marketing. It should get you off the couch, turning off the TV, getting off YouTube, Facebook, funny videos, or whatever else distracts you. It should wake you up to take action and make a difference. And that why is going to create the how always and every time. And you're going to see the success coming from that. And I want to tell y'all, listen, okay? If it's God's will, it's going to happen. But if God put it in your path, it means that it's his will, but it doesn't mean he's going to do it for you. Okay. He is showing you the way. And I have always believed that in my business. I couldn't just sit back and expect to get lucky or expect a business builder to come along. I had to take ownership for leadership, create those leaders and fulfill that and bring people in this. So I want to tell you that sitting here tonight as a former excuse maker turned truth seeker, when I went through all I did with my stepsister and my son through, military moves, different states, a devastating pregnancy loss, all of that, the endless testimonies, the special friendships that I have created, every single moment of those, that is what this Diamond and Beyond represents. It's the endless growth and all of those excuses that I turned into exceptional opportunities. So I just want to let y'all know to not give up on yourself and to keep dreaming, and don't recognize those excuses. Really, really recognize it, because I know 100% from the beginning of my business through my business, recognizing that and realizing that what it was, and turning it into passion and belief was what was able to propel me forward, because I stopped making those excuses. And I had to tell myself hard truths and hard things that, hey, these are excuses. Even when I was bone tired, y'all, I would still believe that, hey, I needed to do this for my kids, for my family, to send out 3 messages, even when I didn't want to. So I think that's all I wanted to say. Listen, y'all are so special, and I was so excited to be on this call tonight. Like my pits are sweating. I told Jamie, like, I smell y'all, okay? So might be more than you needed to know, but y'all are some special people.
So special, you're making her sweat. I wanted to say, choose your heart. We hear that all the time, but it's hard to see everyone be successful when you're not. It's hard to see people living out their dreams and you're not, just because you're making excuses. And I've been there too. I made excuses for the first 2 years of my business. I used my kids, which were a why, as an excuse, because it really does feel like I can't do it. I don't have time. It really feels that way. It's like, how can I add one more thing? Or gosh, it's so hard when my husband isn't supportive and I don't have that emotional support. And I feel like I'm always, struggling there. But habits, you can create new habits over 21 days, and making excuses is a habit. So many times you will hear people who just say, yeah, I can do that, like without even thinking, because it's a habit to be like, yes, I can do it. Or yeah, I got that. Or sure, why not? Versus, I can't, I got the kids, I got this, I got that. It's habits. So make a habit to decide that you're going to not make an excuse for what you have to do. If your upline asks you to do something, or if your downline asks you to do a 3-way call, or if they need help, don't procrastinate. Just make it happen. And it gets easier and easier the less excuses that we make. So that's something that I've learned.
Well, I love that. And it brings you to saying, basically be coachable. That was one of the biggest things. Anytime Fallon told me, Jamie, all the other leaders here, like, we've always just been so coachable. Even when we just really didn't want to do it, we were coachable, and we knew that, we didn't need to reinvent the wheel, that these were things that successful people before us were doing. And it really does. It makes a difference. It really does. So yeah, y'all, I think that's just have belief in what you're doing, what story you're telling yourself and limiting yourself to, and mastering your mind. And that will shift your business, and less excuses. I hear a little baby. That's our cue to maybe pop off.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for having us.
Yes, we love being on here tonight.
Great.
Good night, y'all.
Bye, guys.